Good day to you. So one of the things that I want to help you guys understand is this is a learning map, okay? And this is a totally blank one, but can be really useful and helpful. And this is a lot of times how teachers and instructors will start to determine what needs to be taught when and how, okay? And so for this setup, right here in the middle is what we're actually going to focus in and learn what we want to be able to teach or what the project that we're working on is, okay? And so looking at this, so if my project is going to be something like building a rocket, okay? That's an important part for a lot of different things. But what exactly is entailed in building a rocket? What do I need to know? And this is where we take some of the Common Core state standards and we look at, okay, what do I need to know? Okay? So as I'm looking at that, one of the things, especially with high school level, is we need to be thinking about, what are we trying to do with this? What's our goal? And so one of the things that I might be trying to do is an introduction of functions and building the function for how this is going to be shaped, or its flight path and how that's going to work, okay? So in there I can now put in that central area my high school standard of function building functions, and the actual building a type of arithmetic operation, maybe determining an explicit expression, a recursive process, yes, and steps of calculating from a context, absolutely. So I'm going to put in A.1.A. So I'm actually putting in that standard kind of as a subpart of this overall project that I'm going to do. So within my project, the center section should have all the different things that I want to learn and know and do, okay? And so you can do other ones. So you're going to do things like you're going to add in geometry and talk about the measurement and their dimensions, okay? And so within that, you're going to start with some probably informal arguments and things like that and build up to it. And each of those different kinds of things. So you're going to throw in another couple of standards here into the actual mix. High school standard, and it's going to be geometry, GMD, okay? And I would probably use informal arguments. You could use things, and that's up to you where all you want to go, but definitely like cylinders and pyramids, cones, those kinds of things, that all falls into here. So you can do A3, and I'm just referencing 3. So that way everybody can understand as I reference back to these, what these standards are for it, okay? And the more, that you understand about the project and all the standards that you're going to meet, you're going to fill this out more, okay? And that's the first part of it, what is our absolute goal? What are we going to accomplish? Then we have to start thinking about these other columns, okay? Because that's not necessarily where I can start. In order for me to be able to do each of these things, I have to go back and actually make sure that I have all the necessary pre-knowledge, okay? So like teachers will use this as their early assessment. Make sure that you have all the correct foundation to then be able to move into this actual building of a rocket and doing that project, okay? And so that might be, do you actually have, the algebraic ability to do that, okay? So not just functions, but that goes back to our equations. Can you actually do the equation aspect? That's high school algebra and creating equations in there, okay? And so that might be the ability of rearranging formulas. That might be the equations and inequalities that you're going, this is our minimal limit, and we can go above that, or a maximum limit, and those kinds of things. So I could put the actual standards over here again. And so I've got a few of those handy enough. So we've got the high school standard on algebra. Sorry. And that's number 3 is a pretty big one there. Okay. And then we also have number 4s about formulas and stuff, so you could put that one in there as well. Okay. And having each of these, so this is kind of what makes a learning map, is it helps us to see really where we are by where did we come from, what did we have to do and accomplish to get there, and where is this also going to help us get to. Okay. So you're going to fill out this more and more with all the different pre-knowledge things that you have to do. Okay. Because sometimes you have a lot of these that you have to cover. All of your future learning, okay? So after this project, what's the next project? Sometimes one project needs to come in front of another one because certain things are prerequisite to it. All of the pre-knowledge things for this future thing are what I'm doing right here and right now, okay? But in the future, I want to be able to, really get into the statistics and probability. So after I build a rocket, then I'm going to start to use all of that information and really make rules for the future. Okay, so that's one of my probability aspects. So over here, I'm going to have, my high school probability, statistics and probability. Okay, and understanding one thing leading to another. So that all of these things connect between that is going to tie into 3. Okay, and I got to move that over. Okay, so this is kind of that basic format, the setup that we have for it, and then we can keep building from that. That way everybody can see, oh, this is where you're at. That means you already accomplished these standards. Okay. And by having accomplished all of your pre-knowledge standards, you're now ready for the current topic and ready to go into after this, after you successfully achieve each of these, then you can move forward into the next project or the next part of your project. Because depending on how in depth you want to look at this, this could be the whole project, or you could look at each one of these standards individually. And so what you want it to be is all about how big you want this to be. You can have it be one standard at a time here, or we can have it build with the whole project in the middle, and we're going to keep adding in, because the more that we have here, the bigger that my pre-knowledge is going to be. Also, the more things that's going to lead to in my future learning. So you have that pre-knowledge, what's happening now, and future learning.